Hi everyone, Jeri Bellini here. Welcome to the little house in Pennsylvania. Today's video is all about hearts. Yes, and you might be thinking, yes, Valentine's Day is coming and that's why she's making hearts. But I have a couple of reasons why I zeroed in on the hearts. One is, it is Valentine's Day is coming. And Brian and I got married on Valentine's Day, so that's really kind of a special day for me. And the other is my mom passed away this time of year, and it will be 10 years this year. So there's kind of a mixture of a lot of different things going on this time of year, and I tend to get a little melancholy, and I like to do something to remember these events. And so what better way than to make some hearts? So last year is when I came back to YouTube and I made this little wool heart, and it's done like a penny circle embroidered, and there's a how-to down. I'll put it in the little box below, and I'll put it up in the window if you care to go back and look at that. But this year I was like, well, what kind of a heart can I make? I want to make another heart. I love hearts. I have a tattoo here. Where is it? Right there. Tattoo of a broken heart. All right, that's a sidebar. So I was thinking, what kind of a heart can I make this year? And I started playing around with my stuff, and before I knew it, I was making all kinds of hearts. So I'm actually going to show you how to make 3 different hearts. Yes, and I will timestamp each one so you can just fast forward to it. But I hope you enjoy watching this, and I hope you'll make some hearts. And as I was going along, I was making the hearts red and pink, and you know, I'm not really a pink person, but you know, Valentine's Day, I was making hearts. And I said, you know, wouldn't it be fun if I made some of them with the neutrals? Because why can't we use some of these hearts on our slow stitching or on another project? So that's what I did. All right, enough of the blah blah. Let's get started. I'll turn the camera around, and we're going to be making 3 different hearts today. All right, I hope you like them. Let me know in the comments. The supplies you need for this project are t-shirt yarn, some fabric glue, I like this brand, craft wire. I'm using 20 gauge, and it really doesn't matter if it's copper or silver or brass. This is waxed linen. You can use any kind of thread. You can use embroidery floss. You could use pearl cotton. You could use yarn, anything you like. A tapestry needle. One of these little clips is helpful. Either a flat nose or a round nose plier, a wire cutter, and a sharp pair of scissors. Anyway, let's start by cutting your t-shirt yarn on a diagonal, and then take your wire and bend over the very tip so that it doesn't easily poke through like this side would, the t-shirt yarn when we get started. Now, before I actually glue it, because I am going to use some glue on the tip here, before I do that, I want to show you exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to lay this inside the curl about 1 inch down. I'm going to let it curl around it a little bit, and then I'm going to fold this over. And the reason I did the diagonal was, you know, so I wouldn't have a straight line across of bulk. Okay, so I'm basically going to do that. So now I'm going to open it up and put glue in here. And now I'm going to lay this in there, let it go into the roll, and then open that up so that it has, the glue can stick to the t-shirt. And then I'm just going to fold that over. I'm going to cover all this in a minute, so you're not even going to see any of it. All right, now this is all glued. Now I'm going to start wrapping this around, and it will have a tendency to want to untwist on you. So I'm going to go back up to go over the area that we just glued. And I did open up my t-shirt yarn a little bit to get good coverage. And now I'm going to go back down, and I'm going to start wrapping this around. So it's easier if you hold this here and move your t-shirt yarn. This wants to untwist because it's just one twist around this wire, but no worries because we're going to wrap it with the thread and it's not going to come undone. So you just have to get to the end of this. And I'm just going to keep wrapping it. So you could go like that a little bit to tighten it. See what I mean? Now, if you have to stop for whatever, you want to go get a drink or something, just use a clip to keep it from unraveling. All right, so we're going down about 2 inches. 1 to 2 inches, and you can push it to make sure that it stays nice and tight. Now we're going to go back up, and don't try to be neat, because that's what I think is the cool thing about this, is it's all lumpy bumpy. So go back to the beginning and then go back down, and I'm aiming for about 1/2 inch thickness here. Don't let go like I just did. And do 1 or 2 like that, and then go back a little bit, just back a little, and then back down. And you're going to go back down to this spot right here. Don't forget to push it up every so often. And the t-shirt yarn, I love it because it curls, and so it gives an interesting look. So it's flat on that side, and it's got the seam over there. And you can open it up if you want to every so often. Just, this is really narrow, but just for the looks, to change the look, you can open it up and wrap it. Okay. And when you get back down to where you started, if you feel like you missed anything before you go on, just go back and do a little bit more and then head back. Okay? You don't want it to be perfect. And now we're just going to keep doing that. So we're going to wrap. And my ball of yarn is on the floor. And try to keep this area that you just did from moving. Okay, that's about good. That's about an inch and a half to 2 inches. So now I'm going to go back up. So I just turned it around to do that because it's easier. Okay, and now go back down. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to turn it around again and go back down. And I know it's a pain in the neck to keep winding this around, but it will keep this from unraveling. If you start moving this end instead of this end, it's going to unravel on you. Just don't forget to push it down so it stays nice and thick and tight. All right, and you're just going to keep doing that all the way down. So I just put this clip on there because it's starting to get a little long and I don't want anything crazy to happen down here, so that'll hold it in place. If your t-shirt yarn starts to get twisted, just hold it up like you would thread that gets twisted and let it untwist. The ball, hold the ball. Do not try to do that with this because this will actually untwist on you. So hold the ball up and let that untwist. Okay, now when you get down to the end, I'm going to leave that inch there and I'm going to go back. I'm going to fold this over and then I'm going to go back in the opposite direction. I'm going to open this up before I do and put some glue in here. I want to cover this wire. So just double check and make sure that your thickness, you're happy with your thickness here at this end. And I'm just going to do a few more wraps. And then when I'm ready to just end it, I'm going to open this up and glue it. This looks like a good place to stop right here. Try to hold my hand over so you can see. So now I'll just open this up a little bit and try to get that in there. And I'm not worried about it because when I go back and do the string, it's going to hold everything together. We're going to start curling our edge over just a little bit. Okay, now we're ready to get our needle and thread. I actually have some pink wax linen. I'm going to use that. And my tapestry needle. And a lot of the time I do let the needle just come off. I don't even worry about the needle until I have to pierce something. So in order to get started, I like to put a little knot on the end. If you've watched my basket video, I made a teeny tiny basket last summer. I'll put the link up and in below for you if you want to see. It's basically the same premise of wrapping and then stitching. It's a cute little basket I made. I'd show it to you, but it's at the beach. So now I have this little tiny knot. I'm going to try to get into in between the layers, okay, to get myself started. And you really can't pierce the t-shirt yarn with this tapestry needle, I have found. So I have to kind of go under, and sometimes when I pull and do that, it pops out. So that's good. It didn't pop out that time. Okay, so now I'm ready to start wrapping and connecting. Let me leave this over here so you can see it. So what I want to do before I start to try to connect this is I want to get some string down here. And you can use wire too. The wire, I have this wire, it looks really fun. And this wire, I have a couple different colors of wire from the bead shop days. So I just want to get down here. And you can use more than one color thread. I used gold and pink on this one. Just have fun with it. And you can add beads and dangles and all kinds of stuff while you're going along. So what's important to remember is you want to do like a figure 8. So when I'm ready to attach this to this, I'm going to go over that one, over this side, and then I'm going to go under this side. See? It's like a figure 8. So it's under and over. And you see I'm going to leave that open so you can see the string. And then I'll just pull it tight. See? Now, sometimes you have a tendency to go like this, but you don't want to see that string going all the way across. So just remember, when you're connecting, when you're trying to connect these, you want to go over one and under one. And like I said, this needle sometimes just gets in my way, so I'm going to just take it off. Okay, so I came around over, and now I'm going under. Now, I do want to go right down in that crack, so that's why I might need my needle back on. But no, it went right down. So I do put a little more thread and stitching into this beginning so that it stays, because it's just, it wants to come out. It doesn't want to stay. So I try to put a few extra stitches in there. All right. So now I'm going to stop there, because I'm going to fold this over, bend this over. And because there's wire in there, it wants to, and it's easier, and it will want to stay. Now, if you don't have wire, but you have some kind of rope, or so the basket that I made has my fiber cord in it. And I say mine because we sell it in the Etsy shop. And that's what I wrap my cloth and anything else I'm going to use around. So you can do this with yarn too. It doesn't have to be t-shirt yarn. It could be regular wool. It would be super fun. You could stick the wire up through the wool. All right, so as soon as you feel like you have to connect, then you do the over-under figure 8. Just going to go down a little bit. And I'm going to connect right here, right here. So it came over, now it's going under, and I'm definitely going to need the needle. Oops. Yeah. Okay. Now I want to go over and under this and over. Do you see the figure 8? And now I'll just wrap this around the t-shirt yarn. And again, don't be precious. Don't be trying to make it neat and tidy. Okay, so now I'm going to keep rolling that. I already have a sense as to how big this can be, because I've already made a couple of other ones. So I'm going to roll it a couple more times, but you can stop and just kind of do this, and then figure you want to roll this one. But I didn't want them to be the same size. You see, one's bigger than the other. So I'm going to roll this one a little bit more, and just this one's going to be a little one. That one's dry now. All right, now we ran out of thread. So now I need my tapestry needle, because I'm going to bury my thread underneath these layers of t-shirt. All right, I'm just going to keep wrapping around here, and I'm going to connect this a little bit more, probably to about there. Yep, I'm going to connect this about that big. And then I'll just wrap around here, and then I'll do the same thing over here. Here is my little heart, and I'm trying to figure out how to connect it, and I think I want to overlap them a little bit instead of doing that. I want to just do a little bit of dimension here. And I dug in my wire and I had some different colors. I had this pink and this purple, and I think I'm going to use the purple. So I cut a piece of that. It's about 10 inches, I think. And I'm not really sure how this is going to turn out, but I'm thinking to stick the wire through here and then stick it through this piece right next to it. Let's see, like that. Maybe there, let me see how that is. Yeah, I think right there. So now I think this is going to be the back. Let's see. I want to come back out to the front. And I might not have made this wire long enough, but let's just have a play. Okay, that's going to keep that one on top of the other. Doesn't look too horrible on the back. And I have my tool here to pull that tight. Yeah, I think that's okay back there. Now, it depends on what you want to do with these. You know, I'll show you another one in a few minutes. And I made a little bail to hang it up. So I think I'm just going to just wrap it a little. Like I'm twisting the wire here. I'm twisting it. And now I can do these little spirals. Big deal, right? Same as that one. All right, and let me show you how I did the spirals. So I just took a pencil and I just wound it, the wire around a pencil. That's easier. And if I wasn't so lazy, I'd go get some seed beads and put some seed beads on there too, but I want to show you another heart. So let's just get this one finished. Oh, that looks super cute. Okay, I think I'm going to call it macaroni. And let me show you another one. This video might be a little long, but it's a special occasion. Let's make another heart. This one uses cotton, cloth, some wire. You're going to need these tools. Now, we're going to start with the cotton, and I ripped mine into a strip. Approximately 1 inch to 1.25 inches. This one's 1 1/4 inches. Then you're going to fold it in half, wrong sides together. And I used my sewing machine. I used a zigzag stitch. Now, if you don't have a sewing machine or you don't want to sew, what I would suggest, because we're going to cut these apart into little pieces, okay? And if you hand stitch it, I would cut them apart first and hand stitch it so you can do a little back stitch at the end, because when you cut them apart, they might just open up and fall apart. All right. Otherwise, use a sewing machine. You don't have to back stitch anything because the zigzag stitch kind of holds everything in place. After you cut your pieces apart, grab your wire and make sure you leave enough length so that you can put a little doodle thing here in the middle if you'd like. Then put a piece of tape or something on the end of your wire to keep the pieces from falling off, and then just put them on in whatever order you would like to see them on your heart. Let me cut some of this up because give it a little pop of color there on this red. And you don't have to use traditional Valentine colors like I'm using. All right, so you can see I switched gears. I wanted to do one in neutrals. So here's my piece of wire. This piece is about 12 inches long, and I put a piece of tape on the end to keep the pieces from falling off the end when I put them on. And then I made a little hook on the end of the wire to keep it from getting caught as I'm fishing the wire through the cloth. So now I'm just going to randomly pick these up and put them on. And until I feel like it's full enough, and we'll just do that together. Just want to make sure that I'm being random. And let's see, maybe another one. Let me see how full this is. So it's pretty full, and I want to leave some room for some wire at the top to do that little doodle. I can always cut one of these pieces off if I feel like there's too many on there. So I'm going to take the tape off, and I'm just going to unbend this, or you can cut it off. It's just such a tiny bit. Okay, and now you have to twist the wire together so it doesn't come apart. And I'm going to leave about an inch to make a little doodle at the top. And you just need to twist your wire so that I'll show you in a second. So it doesn't come open. Okay. Now, once you have your wire twisted, just take a minute and make all the little strips with the ratty side out. Okay. And then just try to like move them around and see if you feel like there's too much on there or not enough. It's better if there's too much, because if there's not enough, you'd have to cut that open and start over. So that's good. I like that. That's good enough. I'll fuss with it again in a minute. So now the heart dips up here. So let me get these wires out of the way and start to make the heart shape. Okay, and you'll just have to play with this for a couple minutes. So after you get your heart to the shape that you like, then you're just going to take your tool and make little doodle things here with these little extra pieces of wire. So I hope you like this one, and now we're going to try another one. We're going to make one more heart, and this one uses 2 of the cloth strips that I sewed with zigzag stitches, and it's going to use 20 gauge wire for the core, and I folded that over. So this one's really sturdy. And I used a 24 gauge, you can use whatever, 28, 26 gauge wire to do the wrapping around the whole thing. And then I made a bail up here with this. So, and you need one of these clips or some kind of a clip. So I'm going to put one of the cloths on the wire. I just fished it through, and the ratty edge is facing to my left. So this one, I'm going to have the ratty edge facing to my right. And now I'm going to clip these together to hold them. And the next thing you're going to do, and there's lots of threads here, but I like that, is you're going to twist the two pieces together. You can do it however you see fit, okay? So I just want to make sure both of these, I have my thumb in there, both of these pieces of cloth are going to show. I want them both to show up. Okay. And by the way, my pieces of cloth were 10 inches. Okay, so go like that. And I'm going to twist it until I get it thin enough. All right. And be careful to not let it untwist. All right, now I'm going to take a piece of this 24 gauge wire. And you see I just cut off whatever. And I'm going to wrap it around at the end. Okay, and then just go up the whole thing. You can use string too if you want, if you don't have wire. The wire really holds it in place. So you see I'm like done with that. And if it starts to untwist on you, just twist it back up. And I'm not real neat about this. Do it that way. I like to kind of just really make a mess of it. All right, now I'm leaving a little bit of cloth at each edge because I like the way this looks, this little fluffy thing. Okay, you can go back and do more, or you can add beads, you could do whatever. You can put thread on top of this. So now we have to make a heart. And this one, it goes like this. Like that. Or however you want it to go. Now, you see, this is the wire here. I saved it and I used it as a design element. You don't have to. You can cut it off if you want to. I think I'm going to cut this off on this one. So let's just go in here. Okay, so now you have this. And I connected my two pieces with this other wire. So I'm just going to pull off another piece. And go in and connect this. So I'm just wrapping it around. I just love that. I'm going to call it the sloppy look. It just looks very, okay, I'm going to use the word organic. But I think it does. I think it just looks really cool and worn, weathered. And Okay, see, I'm not being super neat. Now, if you cut a really long piece of wire, because there is no like real pattern for this, but if you cut a really long piece of wire, you can use this as a bail. You can make a bail up here. Or you can go in, what I did with this is I went in after the fact and put this on. But now that I have this here, this is another option. I think this is so cute. Oh my gosh, I love this. I'm going to put this on my mom's quilt. All right, so if you don't want to bail, just take your wire and just go back and wrap it around. You can make those little doodles that I made in the last one. Let's do that and not make a bail on this one. You're probably wanting to see how I made the bail though. All right, let me just make the bail with this other wire. So get it in the place where you want it to be. I think that's good. I want it to be right in the center. Every time I do this, it looks different, just FYI. So I'm just going under some of the other wire that's already been wrapped back here to get to the center. And just make a loop. And I'm going to go through here so that the loop stays put. And then I'm just going to wrap around at the bottom. It's my dog, you hear? That's it. Really pretty simple. And I love working with wire because it just does what you want it to do. Okay, and there's still enough here for another doodle. And it's long enough actually that you could use a pencil. All right, you see, I'm just playing. Just have fun. So I hope you enjoyed seeing me create these hearts. And my heart is full of love for you. And yeah, just remember, keep moving, just play, no rules. And remember to be grateful for something each and every day. I'm always grateful for you. And I will see you again next week. Bye for now.